listen, I know the sentiment all season. Bro, I want to see the Lions. If it's not my team, I want the Lions. Or you know what? The Bills. That would be a great story. Lamar, maybe it's his chance. And we saw the meme months ago. It wasn't like a new meme made over the weekend. Months ago, it said, the Super Bowls we want to see. And a lot of them were Bills, Lions memes. And it was what we don't want to see. And all along, it's been Eagles, Chiefs.
Well, I do think the Lions would have matched up much better versus the Eagles yesterday. We were a little let down. I think the Commanders let themselves down.
Yeah.
They lost that game. They gave that game away. We're going to get all your feedback. Look, every Monday we go over things that made you go, all your observations. We're going to play Last One Standing, giving away prizes today, a CNR Swiggy. And, again, just everything you could possibly absorb from this weekend's football games.
Yeah.
Rich, I am excited about it. I think we got the two best teams there, and you're seeing them click when it matters most. Jalen Hurts is balling. He's playing well. If he plays like he played yesterday with Sequon Barkley, who seems unstoppable.
That's the crazy
I don't know
part.
how anybody beats them, but then again, Mahomes is playing the best he's played all season.
It's a different Mahomes, as Colin said on the herd. Stars. Yeah, it's like he made the comparison that he just pictures red. Jordan, Tiger Woods, Mahomes. There's a magic that when it matters, they turn it on. And you saw that in Mahomes. But, it's interesting about Saquon. Back to him for a second. In sports, when you want to take a guy out of a game, you could double a receiver. You could take a tight end off the line of scrimmage, not give him any space, take him out of the game plan. You could double cover someone in the NBA, not let them get a shot off. The game plan was to stop Saquon Barkley, yet it still can't be done. It's not like they're like, oh, maybe we should try to stop Saquon. The game plan all week had to be force Jalen Hurts to beat you through the air. Let's stop the run, yet they still rush for over 200 yards as a team. That offensive line, it's offensive.
Yeah, seriously. I said last week that I thought the Chiefs would win because the Chiefs play to their competition, which is good and bad, right? That means they lower their game versus lesser opponents, but they still pick their game up. I mean, he scored 30 points the first time all season against the Bills and won. So I do think the same could be true next week, 2 weeks from now at the Super Bowl. But, man, Saquon Barkley makes this team look unbeatable. I just don't know how you beat this guy. I don't know how you shut him down. I don't know how the Chiefs defense shuts this guy down, but it's going to be an exciting game.
Tell you how.
Remember,
I'll tell you how. You know this guy, you might have known Chris Jones. Maybe that defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because remember, Washington, while they did have an amazing year.
You mean sentimental Chris Jones?
Sentimental. When a big man like that cries, it makes me feel some type of way.
Yo, man, I'm just feeling sentimental.
But let's keep in mind that the Commanders were a great feel-good story. Jaden Daniels, we're all excited to see what he brings to the NFL over the next handful of years. But should they have been in the NFC Championship game? Would you have ever thought that going into the season? No way, Jose. So with that said, the Washington Commanders had the 30th ranked rush defense. So it's not like the best Ds were going against Saquon in that situation.
No.
So
they had a hell of a season. They have to make some adjustments. They have to work on their defense, but they just played sloppy ball from the get-go and gave that game to the Eagles. Now, before we get into all the observations, right? Before we get into things that made you go, we got lots of observations from the game to the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar, and more. Why don't we talk about, what's the rooting interest here? Because if this is the Super Bowl that nobody really wanted except for Chiefs and Eagles fans, right? Are you more excited about the three-peat in history, or as they said, the Chief Pete, which doesn't even make sense?
Yeah.
What's a Chief
Wait, let's failed
no.
term.
He said Chief Pete or Pete Chief. It was like Pete Chief, three Chief.
I thought he said Cheat Pete.
Is
it a chief named Pete?
Yeah, they were just throwing all different variations of that.
It's like people would just throw a gate on the end of things if it was scandalous.
Yeah. They said
three Chief. They said three Chief or Chief Pete.
And
yeah,
three
COVINO Rich Gate.
So, are you more interested
better trademark
in the
that.
Chief Pete, or are you more interested in the Eagles getting revenge with their new and improved team led by a healthy Jalen Hurts who looked solid yesterday and the unstoppable Sequon Barkley. So are you looking for three-peat or are you looking for revenge here for Philadelphia? What is your rooting interest?
As the meme goes, Kansas City Chiefs fans, little dot right there in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Eagles fans. And the third option was Meteor Strike. Did you see the meme that's floating around today?
I did.
Listen,
Rich, I know mine. I know my rooting interest here for sure.
Hold it, and I want to see if we have the same one.
Yeah.
Because all along, I wanted Josh Allen, this to be his year. I really wanted those Bills fans to be jumping through fiery tables. By the way, did you see that fun story where in Kansas City, they weren't letting you buy folding chairs if you had an out-of-state license?
Hilarious.
Yeah, you had to have a Missouri license.
Preventing the Bills Mafia from acting foolish. May have saved a couple broken necks.
Josh Allen must have nightmares about Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, my God.
Seriously.
It's honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. So everyone was saying, oh, Bills, what a great story. Like I said, Lamar Jackson, maybe it was his year. Another MVP, but yet another opportunity cut short. The Lions, if this isn't their year, 15-2, then when is their year? I wanted all those feel-good stories if it wasn't my 49ers. But now you're putting two teams that are very difficult to root for in front of the nation.
Right.
The Eagles, with Nick Sirianni's punchable face.
And just hateable franchise, hateable team, hateable fans.
With those fans. Oh, my God. They're right below Yankees fans.
Right.
Like, Eagles fans are brutal. So you're like, do I want them to be happy?
Or passionate, you could say.
And then it's like, then the eye-rollingness of, oh, Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift, and you want that again? As the other meme I saw goes, Swifties are the worst because since they started rooting for football, they haven't lost a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, all of us as other fans have never had Super Bowls.
I would like to thank Josh Allen, though, for putting up, playing one hell of a game yesterday because it prevented a much more Taylor Swift on the screen than we could have seen.
But she got that Louis Vuitton $8,000 outfit.
But but honestly, there could have been way more of her on the screen, but Josh Allen really kind of prevented that.
Well, so it was a close game, man.
Yeah.
32-29, but still the Chiefs got the best of them. It's Chiefs-Eagles, so think about it.
I have it. I have my answer.
What's the more favorable rooting interest here? Because when you
strike.
do picture Eagles fans, you know what type of Eagles fans I picture, Rich? And I got a lot of Eagles fan friends, but I picture them like that hateable Yankee fan that tried to strip the ball from Mookie Betts. That kind of guy.
Just a guy like that, but he lives 80 miles south.
Austin
but he wears green.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that guy. I picture most of the fans like that guy. So do you root for the Eagles or do you root for the history and the repeat with the Chiefs?
All right,
the three-peat.
I thought long and hard about this.
Go ahead.
And again, I just, as a New Yorker in my heart, even though I live out here in L.A., I can't root for Nick Sirianni. The only part of the Eagles that is rootable to me is Sequon Barkley because he seems like just a great dude, and he's such a difference maker. In fact, I think probably the best bet is Sequon Barkley MVP because the odds are going to be pretty decent because that would include the Eagles likely having to win for him to be MVP. So I like that, but I'm taking a little pivot here, and I'm rooting for history. I didn't think I would, but I'm rooting for Mahomes to get it done, three-peat, put in the history books, and then maybe we could all move on.
Rich, you're doing the mental gymnastics to root for the Chiefs here.
I am.
You're doing some serious mental gymnastics.
He's trying to find some nugget of hope.
The Eagles are America's underdogs. They're America's underdogs.
You ever been to Philadelphia?
I have. I've spent a lot of time in Philly, and you know what?
He's got family there. He's Philly Sam.
I am.
Dunk your head in cheese whiz.
Oh wait, hold on, Dan Byer. Have you met my new friend? Do you know
Philly Sam?
Cheesesteak Sammy.
Cheesesteak Sammy.
Cheesesteak Sammy. I love a cheesesteak Sammy.
Oh, this is a cheesesteak sandwich.
Sam, you gotta say whiz wit.
Whiz-wit.
Yeah, whiz-wit. Yeah, that's how you
listen. Get your Johns right. Get your Cooper DeJeans in order here.
Yeah, no, look at that. Who knew?
Philly is a fun team to watch. I'm fully pulling for the Eagles here.
You're a whiz twit.
Kavino,
I'm a whiz kid.
Kavino, did you know our board op and producer? Do you know Cheesesteak Sammy?
I didn't know he was Cheesesteak Sammy until now. I thought he was Big Apple Sam and Iowa Sam, but he calls them these like underdogs. But I think Sequon Barkley's the equalizer here. How could you really consider them real underdogs when this dude seems unstoppable. Honestly, I find it more impressive if the Chiefs still find a way to win.
Well, the Chiefs are
with this machine.
The Chiefs are 2-point favorites. I'm not sure if it's still 2, but it opened around there.
Rich, I get that, but you wouldn't be impressed if the Chiefs still somehow find a way to stop this guy and beat the Eagles.
Covino, I'll tell you this.
They seem unbeatable with Sequon Barkley. So even though they're underdogs, are they really with him?
I'll give you this. The sentiment that you share is likely because the point spread has moved to 1.5, meaning people are betting on the Eagles. There's a part of me that, listen, I'm not hating all Eagles fans. They did win with Nick Foles. Great win over Tom Brady, a legendary Super Bowl. Was it the Super Bowl Brady threw for like 500 yards and still lost? Like, it was a legendary Super Bowl. The Philly special. They're passionate. I really feel the same way the rest of the country feels. I don't know who to root for.
I do. And let me get mine out there. We'll get to your phone calls, too, at 877-99 on Fox, 877-99 on Fox, at Covino and Rich. We'll go around the room. Sam wants the Eagles. Danny G, think about it. Buyer, Spotty Boy. Rich, you said the Chiefs, and I'm going with you. Going with you, buddy boy. The three-peat. The history means so much more when all's said and done and when we look back than the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I don't hate the Eagles. I don't hate their fans. In fact, I'm highly impressed with Saquon and Hurts and how this team came back. Remember, they were the team that were in the Super Bowl. Then the next year, we counted them out. We counted them out, dude. We thought they were done. They made adjustments. They came back.
You remember where we were? We were at Buffalo Wild Wings when the Tampa Bay Bucks whooped them in the wild card. It was a Monday night wild card last year.
I'm actually really impressed that they were able to come back and do this again. Like, people gave up on them. People gave up on Hurts. And that dude looks like he's playing great. So I'm not hating on the Eagles, but what I am saying is history matters more. You know, when we think back to what Jordan did in the NBA, when we realize that no one in the NFL has ever done this, the fact that we get to see it, we get to tell our kids and our grandkids about it in the future, the fact that Mahomes, whether you like the Chiefs or not, Mahomes is one of those special players, once-in-a-lifetime guys who just knows how to win. He's more fun, and that story's more fun to root for than the Eagles if you have no horse in the race.
You know, Dan Byer and I share a commonality. We're students of Super Bowl history. We for some reason love that. You get this sense of when we were kids. Remember, it was like Giants, Redskins, Niners, Cowboys. Like the same handful of teams consistently just beat the Broncos or the Bills. Now It seems like the Chiefs just take turns beating the Niners and the Eagles. Like we're getting this rotation of your same teams that are on the losing end of this Chiefs dynasty.
Yeah, it's funny too because I hear everything that you and Covino and everybody's saying about this, how special this three-peat is. And Rich, I think you and I look for something that changes the history, something that is different. And the three-peat doesn't do it for me. I want the one-off. I want the new team. The Eagles, I guess, winning their second to me would be more of, does it change history a little bit that we now look at them as a multiple Super Bowl champion?
I like that. I like that. But, like changing history means more to you. I get it.
Dan, what's interesting is we had that conversation the other day about which of these quarterbacks will end up not winning one. Josh Allen, Lamar, Justin Herbert. We went down the list. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, while it's not on his own, Saquon a big part of it, Jalen Hurts would have one under his belt. So the narrative that Jalen Hurts is, how good is he? He'll have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And those things can extend your careers when things aren't going well. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's one of the things that's kept Russell Wilson around a little bit longer is because he does have that Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we would look at Jalen Hurts a lot different. The same way, Eli Manning was a bit of a goon, but the fact that he beat Brady is what makes him stand out. Yeah, 2 times no less, right? And MVP. If Jalen Hurts beats Mahomes, we think of him in a completely different category. We counted him out. He came back. And the fact that he's the guy that stops history from happening, I think, he's viewed completely different moving forward.
I had one friend at my house yesterday that was rooting for the Chiefs. Everyone else rooting for the Bills. And he brought up that Batman quote from Dark Knight. Do you remember the quote about being a hero? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And you could say that about Steph Curry. You could say that about a lot of stars.
LeBron,
Michael Jordan, now Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. In the beginning, you remember the narrative with Mahomes? Like,
I'm
wow,
sorry,
the
you forgot
Chiefs.
one, Rich. You forgot one. I think you forgot it on purpose. Hulk Hogan.
Brother. Yeah, now he's a real villain. But think about it, buddy boy. When Mahomes won his first Super Bowl, the Chiefs had not won since Super Bowl IV, if I remember correctly. I was not alive, but they had lost, as you know, early on to the Packers and Bart Starr. The Chiefs had one victorious year, and they went through that 50-year gap. When they won that first one against the Niners in 2020, there were Chiefs fans crying. Everyone's like, man, Mahomes and Kelsey, they deserve it. But if you're a hero long enough, if you don't die a hero, you end up being the villain. And right now they are the villain. And it's hard to call them a villain. You're right, because they're not unlikable guys.
Well, because of Mahomes, man. Because I think every fan of football could see how special this dude is. He's just not hateable. The fact that they win is a bit eye-rolly, and that's hateable. But Patrick Mahomes is not a hateable dude unless you really weigh in all the flopping he did in the past few games.
Yeah.
But he took accountability. He owned up to it. And now we're seeing a dude just play in a special way where he steps up when he has to. Dude, that dude was solid yesterday. So, Danny G, your thoughts. Fox Sports Radio, your thoughts. Your rooting interest, three-peat or revenge for the Eagles?
As much as I would like a fellow AFC West team to do the impossible, or what seems like the impossible, the part of the Eagles story that I really like is Sirianni. Rich, I know you say he's got a punchable face.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But there was a sentiment that he lost the team, right? And then he sort of...
That's the part I love.
Yeah.
How did he go from being this close to being fired to now being in Super Bowl 59?
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about that, too. That was pretty cool, man.
I love that. I think all of us can relate to that in some sort of way, where we've been at a job where we were kind of hanging on and then things took a turn for the good and we were part of something big.
And you know what, Danny? People could say what they want, and he may have a punchable face, Rich. I'm not denying that. But when all's said and done, the beginning, middle, and end of the day, the dude wins football games, right? Look at his track record. He knows how to win games. So, yeah, it is a pretty cool story. I could see that people want to hate on the Eagles, but I'm trying to give you reason to care. People are bored by this story, bored by these teams. You got Sequon Barkley. You didn't have that last time. You got a healthy Eagles team that looks primed and ready to win.
They're good.
They're good. I don't consider them underdogs, even though it's still a point now. You got the Chiefs, who barely won every game all year, but they still find a way, and they're going for history. There's so many cool storylines. How's it going to pan out? You got to pick a side.
So, well, you know what? Spot said refs. I'm glad you said that because
He was clearing his throat.
There's
He
a
didn't
couple-
say anything. He was clearing
I
his
didn't
throat.
say anything.
Couple things.
I wouldn't disparage the refs.
couple
you
things.
did.
You know,
Sorry.
by the way, I always
That
want to
makes
point
them
out
hateable.
that there's something about
It's just a narrative.
there's so many layers to this that I want to get to next. And your feedback, like Covino said, let's light them up. 877-99 on Fox. So give us your rooting interest and why. Because the general sentiment is this is not the Super Bowl we all really wanted. But this is the one we got. So who are you rooting for and why? Give us your rando reason how you're pulling for the evil dynasty known as the Chiefs, or, in the most unlikable fan base. You really want the Eagles fans to be chill, super happy. So your thoughts on your rooting interest, and I want to add one layer to this. The social media sentiment
It's like an 8-layer dip.
that, I'm breaking out the Super Bowl dip spot. Here's the next layer.
Yummy!
The people that believe things are rigged.
Rigged.
Do you really think?
Well, there was conspiracy on that flag at the end of the game. Did you catch that?
Where
Where last-
Josh Allen threw up that the prayer, and they said Jim Nantz goes, "Oh, there's a flag on the play." Oh wait, there's not a flag.
Right.
Who wants to storm Arrowhead with me?
There's some speculation as to what were they going to throw a flag on Kansas City there and on Buffalo there?
Well, and before that, when it looked like Josh Allen had gained the line to reach, both announcers were like, "Yeah, he got to the line."
Listen,
and then
dude, that seemed like the closest call. Like when you see Josh Allen down the line and the overhead, all the angles did look like if he just needed to touch a smidge of that white line, then to me, how is it not a first down? But I don't believe in fixes. I don't believe in this nonsense. Even in boxing, I know there's shenanigans once in a blue moon, but do you really think the NFL, the National Football League, where the referees are judges and lawyers, where there's 31 other owners, do you think they're all going to go along with it? Like, oh yeah, here we go. Let's let the Chiefs win again. Like,
you don't believe in the NFL logo, Super Bowl logo conspircy?
Oh, it's
that's
green
my
and
favorite.
red.
That's my favorite.
I mean, so
Rich is right. There's no dirty judges or lawyers.
So you know what? Let's hear from you guys. Do you believe anything is possibly rigged and your rooting interest? A lot of fun NFL, some Super Bowl stuff today. COVINO and Rich.